Are you tired of the friction caused by constant overthinking and frantic daily hustle? You wake up already behind. Messages waiting, deadlines approaching. A silent pressure telling you that if you're not constantly moving, you're falling behind. What if the reason you're burning out is not because you are lazy, but because you are forcing life instead of flowing with it? Today, we explore an ancient principle that feels almost illegal in modern productivity culture. Wu Wei, the art of achieving more by doing absolutely nothing. Wu Wei comes from classical Taoist philosophy, especially the Tao Te Ching, attributed to Laozi, written around the 6th–4th century BCE. But here's the crucial clarification. Wu Wei does not mean laziness. It does not mean apathy. Wu Wei means non-forced action, action that arises naturally. The illusion of productive friction. Modern culture glorifies friction. But friction is often a signal of misalignment. Think about a river. If you swim directly against its current, you exhaust yourself quickly. Wu Wei is learning to read the current. In 2026, burnout has become normalized. We optimize everything: sleep, food, workouts, workflows. But neuroscience shows something fascinating. When you over-control every action, you overload the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for conscious decision-making and self-monitoring. In contrast, during flow states, when performance feels effortless, activity in self-critical regions decreases. The brain becomes more integrated. Actions feel automatic. Time feels different. Wu Wei anticipated this thousands of years ago. The Taoist sages observed that nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. And yet, water shapes mountains. The mechanics of effortless action. So how does non-forced action actually work? It begins with letting go of excessive control. When you cling tightly to rigid plans, you create tension. Wu Wei teaches responsiveness instead of resistance. Imagine holding sand in your hand, grip it tightly, and it slips away. Relax your hand, and it stays. When you release the need to force results, you conserve energy. That energy becomes clarity. This is not passivity, it's precision. Instead of reacting to every notification, every opinion, every impulse, you wait, you observe, you move only when movement is natural. In ancient China, rulers influenced by Taoism believed the best governance was minimal interference. Your life works the same way. Overthinking creates noise. Noise creates friction. Friction drains power. Alignment restores momentum. Aligning your internal rhythm, Wu Wei, requires sensitivity to yourself and to the environment. Most of us act from anxiety. We respond instantly. We send a message. We accept the opportunity. But Wu Wei asks a simple question. Is this action arising from clarity or from fear? There is a difference between urgency and readiness. Urgency feels tight. Readiness feels calm. Taoist philosophy emphasizes observing natural cycles, seasons, weather, timing. Modern life pushes us to force seasons. But when you observe patterns, market trends, emotional cycles, relationship dynamics, you begin to sense timing. Sometimes the most powerful action is delay. Not because you're avoiding, but because you're aligning. Practical non-action for daily growth. Let's bring this into daily life. First, high-leverage stillness. Have you ever struggled with a problem for hours, only to find the answer appears when you step away? In the shower? That's because when you relax, your brain's default mode network activates. It connects distant ideas. It creates insight. Constant effort blocks this process. Wu Wei invites strategic pauses. Try this. The 24-hour yield rule. If you receive an emotional email, a provocative message, or a tempting opportunity, wait 24 hours before making a major decision unless truly urgent. This single rule eliminates countless mistakes driven by ego or anxiety. Second, build emptiness into your day. 5 minutes with no input, just awareness. In that emptiness, clarity emerges. While others rush to appear busy, you cultivate depth, and depth compounds faster than busyness. Mastering the flow state, Wu Wei naturally leads to flow. Flow occurs when ego-driven striving disappears. Athletes call this being in the zone. Artists call it inspiration. Programmers call it deep work. But flow cannot be forced. The more you chase it, the more it escapes you. Wu Wei is the paradox. By releasing the obsession with outcome, you improve the outcome. When you are not fighting reality, you conserve energy. That energy fuels intuition. Intuition improves timing. Good timing multiplies results. Over months and years, this compounds into something powerful. Less stress, fewer impulsive mistakes, higher quality output, sustainable performance. The long-term shift living with Wu Wei reshapes your identity. You stop equating exhaustion with worth. You stop believing that constant struggle is noble. You begin trusting natural momentum. This does not mean you stop working hard. It means your effort becomes clean. No wasted tension, no ego battles, no unnecessary force. In a world addicted to hustle, Wu Wei is a competitive advantage because most people are fighting upstream, and you're learning to read the river. So today, experiment. Before reacting, pause. Before forcing, observe. Maybe the secret to achieving more isn't about doing nothing forever. It's about knowing when not to interfere. Because sometimes the greatest power is not in force, but in flow.